Today we're going to do the perimeter and area of a rectangle given sides that are polynomial. Okay, so in other words, I'm going to draw a rectangle here, try to keep my lines as straight as I can. And let's say that this is 2x minus 5, and this is 4x plus 1. Okay, what's the perimeter and area of that rectangle? We'll start with the perimeter. So the perimeter, we want to add up all the sides. Okay, so this would be half the distance. So if you preferred, you could put a 2 on each of these to take into account that this is also 4x plus 1. And this is also 2x minus 5. But it may be nearly as efficient just to simply add them all up. It doesn't take very long. And that is 4x plus 1. So I'm going to add them all up. That's 4x plus 1, 2x minus 5, 4x plus 1, 2x minus 5. All right, so if I add the x's, 4 and 2 makes 6, and you can double that, make it 12, or just say 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 12 is 2. Just add all of them up. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Twice that would be negative 8. Or alternatively, you could have said 1 minus 5 is negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, whichever. But if you add all of them up, you get 12x minus 8. Now the area is, for any rectangles, length times width. You're always going to multiply when you take the area. Now, there may be more to it than just simply multiplying, but there's always a multiplication there. So this being a rectangle, assume it's a rectangle here, or we're told it's given this a rectangle. To find the area, we're going to multiply length times width. This requires our knowledge of multiplying polynomials or using the distributive property twice, or as some people like to say, the FOIL method. There's different ways you see. I'll entertain FOIL for just a minute. FOIL is a little acronym for first, outer, or sometimes people say outside, inner, or inside, and last. Okay, but it's just the distributive property twice. That's the way I like to think about it. The only problem with FOIL is it only works when it's binomial times binomial. If it's not binomial times binomial, then there's not enough letters or the letters don't match up. But binomial times binomial is common enough to where FOIL's a decent acronym to remember. So first would be the first term in each binomial, or the beginning of distributing 4x. And you can use your fingers here. 4x times 2x. Notice that where I'm pointing, there are two different x's. So you should have an x squared. 4 times 2 is 8, and you should have an x squared there, because again, there's two different x's. You're next going to do, you can either think of it as outer. Okay, and outer would be the two farthest from the middle. That one's kind of on the outside. Or if you'll notice, I'm just distributing the 4x. Ever how you want to think about it. The 4 times negative 5, that's negative 20. And notice again, using your fingers, there's now 1x, one on the left side, but none on the right side. So that's 1x. And now we're going to distribute the 1, or if you prefer, the inner. That's the ones closest to the middle, or kind of on the inside of the problem. 1 times 2x is going to be 2x. Again, 1 times 2 is 2, and you have 1x if you look at your fingers. Finally, we have the completion of distributing the 1, or if you prefer, the last one in each parenthesis here. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. And now it's not uncommon, for whatever reason, there's a classic mistake is for students to want to add all of a sudden. Say 1 plus negative 5 is negative 4, but you don't do that here. You multiply 1, 2, 3, 4 times. You don't multiply 3 times and then suddenly add. So you do want to multiply all those. And of course, we have like terms here. So we're going to have 8x squared minus 20 and 2, there's your like terms. And remember here, we're just counting your x's, so we don't change them to x squared. It's negative 18x, and then negative 5. And so that would be the area of this rectangle. 8x squared minus 18x minus 5.